waiting for flat foot to finish his morning yoga, and then we'll get started.
I'm trying to get in the fucking chair. It won't let me get in the chair.
Oops.
I don't have a menu. There it is. Sorry.
So, got flavour, would you like to step forward and take your tea?
Yes, is anybody representing got flavour?
You represent myself.
Are there any qualified lawyers here? Otherwise, I'm happy to represent myself. I was given short notice, so I was unable to get my lawyer present.
Stand there for me, and I'd like to take your tea.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jury, audience, plaintiff. I'm here because 3 nights ago, I was left to die under a burning helicopter while our trusted EMTs and police department did nothing to help. And I was not alone that night, and I have evidence that shows so. 3 others, or 3 in total, my apologies, were left to die without EMTs response on 311 or attendance to our needs. This shocked me and really destroyed my trust in our government, the government that I pay so many taxes to, the government that makes it so hard to live where I can't even go buy olives without paying double the price of these taxes. To pay for what? Clearly not their service to us. If you would require my evidence, I could post it on this board here, otherwise known as TFAR server 2.
Please,
Now, when I originally filed for this civil dispute, there were 2 things that happened to me that night. One, where I had had a fatal accident underneath my helicopter with no response. And when I woke in an unknown and mysterious place and called for help 5 times with 5 officers present as well as 2 EMTs, I had still received no response. Secondly, after threatening to commit suicide, the officers finally decided to respond to my needs, seeing that, maybe now that he's threatening suicide, maybe now that this person has expressed so much anger and so much is so upset that he might kill himself, maybe now we can commit his needs. But when they finally arrived, they were heartless, they were not considerate of my needs, and you can see this near the end of my video of evidence. And ultimately, I felt they were highly condescending, and I jumped from the tower. Luckily, the EMT finally responded at that time and brought me up. And on my police escort home, after all this trauma, I ended up being kidnapped.
User joined your channel.
In a police vehicle, I was kidnapped, where you'd expect we could feel safe. Now, originally, I was going to file against the failed negotiations that lasted an hour and a half that ultimately led to me being shot in the head, and I've received unrepairable brain damage from that. I can no longer move half of my face. Can you see this? Can you imagine living with half of your face not moving? However, I would like to formally drop the second part of the trial, as I understand PD was under a lot of stress during that hostage negotiation. But I am standing firm on my beliefs. They should have responded to me in the 48 to 52 minutes that it took them to respond to my needs, from the helicopter crash to waking up in an unknown place to threatening suicide and ultimately jumping. Thank you.
I'd like to now just give Mr. Amateur a moment to look over that evidence, so we can then ask him questions that he may have.
During that evidence...
There's no need to look over the evidence. I would like to file for the evidence to be completely dismissed, as the evidence is not complete evidence and has been edited. I would also like to ask for it to be dismissed under the grounds of him low flying within city limits, which is against the law.
May I reply to this, Your Honor?
Stop using the radio.
If
If you can see Armatech, sir, that the helicopter that crashed is nowhere near the city limits. In fact, that is on the exterior of Sin City.
Fortunately, your video doesn't show this. Your video only shows about 10 seconds of the burning wreckage, and then it cuts straight to next to a post office.
And what grounds have you to say that was within city limits?
Grounds of you to say that it isn't in city limits. You need to prove without reasonable doubt that it wasn't within city limits, as that is the accusation I'm putting against you.
Nevertheless, and I'll stand to it, it is not within city limits. That should not dismiss a case of PD and EMTs failing to respond to a call of duty. Had I crashed in a building, they would
as
still be
you have
required to
already said to the court, right, just a few seconds ago, that you would like to drop the second part of the case because of the strain
Yes,
the
the
PD
second
were
part of
under.
the
Now,
case-
the reason they did not respond was because of the strain they were already under.
What strain were they already under?
There were
The
only
kidnapping.
there were only two EMTs on the line at the time and 2 officers at the time, and they were very
There were
strained.
5
User left
officers.
your
If you look
channel.
through the evidence,
User
you can see
joined your
5
channel.
officers were in attendance. That would be Zach, Hillbilly, Blade, Flatfoot, and Leonidas.
At the time of the crash, I believe there wasn't 5 officers online. They came online afterwards.
Oh, they were actually, that was prior, Mr. Tech.
They were
Bill
there
User
prior.
wait,
joined your
let me
channel.
break this
Now,
down, God
yes.
Flavor. Leonidas was not solo cleared and not trained. Alright?
Yes,
So that's
understand
-1. McRainbow, when he signed on, as we know the situation behind him, he was not counted as an officer.
Yes.
At the time, we considered him an officer at the time of your kidnapping, as you say, under stress. Now, sorry, Mr. Tech. Hillbilly
Yes.
was taking care of a stressful situation I was part of. So me and him were effectively out of situation. What does that leave for officers?
That would leave Blade and Zachary.
Zachary wasn't here. He was AFK. Doing paperwork for an arrest. So what does that leave for officers?
That leaves Hillbilly.
No, Hillbilly was taking care of a
Blade,
very,
sorry.
very...
That leaves
Yeah, leaves
Blade.
1.
However, as you can see, there was no response for over 30 minutes to any of my calls, and the one response I did receive
User
was Blade.
left your channel.
No reassurance that PD or EMTs were even attempting to be on their way, and they did not arrive
Mr. Tech, it's
until
all
I
yours.
turned to commit suicide.
Hey, so explain to me why you decided to commit suicide in front of an officer that did arrive. So that's going to make the officers believe that if they had arrived in the first place, you were still going to kill yourself.
No, when
The
they
officer
finally
approached
arrived,
you with the words of, "What the hell are you doing up there?" At that point, you then jumped and landed at the feet of the EMT NJ, of which has
That
caused
is
him
not a
a lot
proper
of
recap of
emotional
what happened.
distress.
the judge is welcome to watch the video itself. That is near the very end. That is not how it went down. That is not what occurred when they arrived. When they arrived, they did ask what the hell I was doing up there. I did not immediately jump. I explained what was happening that day, how I had not been responded to or even notified of PD's stressful situations. I could not have been aware that PD was preoccupied. I could not have been aware that EMTs were preoccupied, because no one told me. And I was not the
Okay,
only
so
one.
what case do you have? That's the question I have for you. What case do you have? Considering you were not aware, how does that make them neglectful?
PD
Or-
and EMTs have an obligation to respond to a call. If
They
cannot
did
make
perform that. They responded to your call in a timely manner where they could actually
timely
manage to
manner.
respond.
Oh my god.
Okay, but that was how they were under strain. As we
Oh
demonstrated. There was only one officer available at the time, so that's them under strain. You've just said that how they're supposed to respond in a timely manner. So if that was a timely manner, that was the first opportunity they could get to respond to you.
As we've already agreed, there was one officer that was not preoccupied at the time. Yet this officer failed 311 to use too busy. There was a lot of strain. I know this because Cisco, as well as Divine Venom and myself, all three of us were left to die.
Why would I want to jump?
Two of them were
I was left to rot underneath my burning
Were
helicopter.
left to die.
Because
What were they so preoccupied?
I'd like to call you up for a second.
Yes, sir.
User left your channel.
It's been months.
In fact, he wrecked his vehicle.
Could you please?
You may have a seat, sir.
No need for that. Could you explain why the one officer did not respond in a timely manner?
Blade Holden was effectively running in 4 places at once. He was going as fast as he could, responding to gunshot calls, multiple gunshot calls in and around the Westport and crap. Where's the other area? I can't. remember offhand, but he was extremely busy, as well as I believe Mr. Enge can confirm time was an EMT on, and effectively trying to back up and revive some of those suspects. I mean, close and quick. Enge and myself were basically stuck dealing with the severe, unordinary situation of an EMT officer and a PD officer conflict. We were basically keeping our departments from rioting against each other.
Okay, so essentially all officers were busy at the time, and as soon as they had an opportunity to communicate, they did. And then he commits suicide.
Your Honor, may I rise?
In my 2 years time as an officer, I have never
User
been
left your
busier.
channel.
I mean, I'll be honest with you.
Okay, alright, Flatfoot,
I'd like
you
to
can take
respond
a
to
seat
this.
again.
I have seen personally bank robbery, hostage scenarios, many of them.
Hold on, dude. Go back up there, Clifford. He wants to cross-reference them.
I had nothing to do with any of them.
No, I've seen many of these scenarios where PD promptly and efficiently responds with the 311 saying, "Helis, back off, no civs in the area,"
Objection,
etc.,
Your
even
Honor.
when under fire. Yet that could not have occurred this one day when 3 people were dying without anyone
You have
responding.
no idea, sir, on the severity of the situation we were dealing with. It was actually really an ordinary and actually could have been handled outside of game, but we chose to handle it inside game.
That
because
does
that
not
is where
negate the treatment of civilians that day.
Treatment of civilians, how? I mean, we're doing the best we can
The
with what we
lack
got,
of
sir.
treatment, I should say, of civilians that day.
Okay, that's your opinion, sir. I'm going to hold to my opinion. So that is definitely based on conjecture. That is your opinion, and you're entitled to that, sir, and I apologize for that. I am doing the best I can when I'm on to enjoy this game just as much as you tried to enjoy it yourself, sir. And we're doing the best we can, and that Friday was probably the most unenjoyable day I've ever had since I've been back. Tech, can you quote what I said my words were to you the next morning? You remember, I don't believe I've ever said that. It was complete and utter bullshit, right? All the way around?
If I remember correctly, it was a complete fuck fest, and it was just become unenjoyable.
Yes.
Okay,
So
I
that was
understand
my
this.
opinion of that night.
I
All right.
understand this. I'm sorry you had that night. However,
You, sir, played a huge part in it.
as did EMT and PD on the part of my night, as well as 2 other civilians. I rest my case.
The EMT present, that was there at the time of the incident, in the support incident.
I am here, sir.
NJ, would you like to step up if you're here?
I think you got
Yes, I would.
Would you like to step up?
and then look at the scene. You should
Okay.
be able to get that.
There we go. Yes, I would.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's it.
Your Honor.
Oh, actually,
If you could
Sorry,
just
after.
give us your side of events, please, Mr. NJ.
Well, shoot. If I can get good. There we go. Sorry. Still a little... Trying to get over everything. It was a little mental, but... From...
Yeah, you're on whispering today.
Apologize. Can you hear me now? Well, I just got home from my first job, and was receiving text messages from some of my guys, CJ, Marcel, a few guys on my seniors and station managers trying to let me know what was going on, and apparently something hectic was going on. So I get my house, I drive to my office and start finding more details. That apparently one of my EMTs has shot at a police officer and was fearful, of course, rioting, as Flatfoot said, also on both ends, and we didn't want that. So I quickly went over to the police department, and that's when I got a hold of Flatfoot and also Hillbilly, and got a little more details on the whole situation. Some time went by there, and then after that was done, I ended up going back to the fire department, to my office. It's a little bit out of the city, so my cell phone's a little off. Signal's not that good. Working on paperwork and trying to figure out what needed to be done. So At that point, of course, I had missed a lot of the calls. Now, I only do recollect only hearing and seeing one 911 call, and I may be wrong, but that's what I remember. And time was a little sick that day, so I told him to go ahead and take off because he couldn't take care of himself, let alone anyone else that day. And at that one point in time, Flatfoot actually came down and to the fire department and picked me up, and then we went looking for gut flavor. At this point, this was the time that I actually found out what was going on with gut flavor. By the time we got to the location where he was supposedly at, we were there for about a few minutes driving around the area, got out a few times. At this point, I'm thinking someone's probably going to kill himself, and I was getting a little stressed, added to my already stressful moment I had. And after about 5 minutes, we finally find him. We start talking to him a little bit. And then he ends up committing suicide. Hold on. Committed suicide by jumping and landing on my feet.
Okay, it's okay.
And thankfully you were there at that moment of need, and you did bring me up, and I do appreciate that. And I thank you that I am still here.
Your Honour,
Sorry
may
for
I
that
approach the
interjection.
bench?
There you go.
I understand that we're allowed to file countersuits, and I would like to file a countersuit on gut flavour for emotional damages and the cause of PTSD on the officer.
I'll make a note of that, and we shall deal with that after this case.
Isn't that, that's it right now.
Questions for the forensic?
Your Honor, may I approach?
You know?
Yes, do you have a chance to finish what you're saying before I proceed?
Yeah, basically, you jumped, landed at my feet, and then I got you back up, and then from that's where we split ways. As far as whatever happened after that point, I don't know many details.
Alright, couple things. First, it was stated earlier that PD, some individuals, were preoccupied doing paperwork. Now I have a couple questions I would like to direct at Flatfoot. Flatfoot, is it not true that citizens are the priority of PD? You are there to serve citizens. Is this true?
Yes, and that involves the paperwork and the fair processing of situations.
Now, given the opportunity to finish filing paperwork, or save a life of a civilian, which would you choose?
To be perfectly honest with you, sir, with your 911 call, it was a crash, which, I'm sorry, I have to prioritize the criminal acts before a crash.
You
Can
would
I
prioritize
interject on that?
paperwork
Because
before
you were already dead, sir, so saving the life wasn't a case. You were already dead and
I
burning.
was not already dead. 15 minutes later, I thought I had died, only to wake up in an unfamiliar place with no medical attention, where I proceeded to call 5 times, that is in the evidence, without any response, until my suicide threats went.
So not only that, but you also were abusing the emergency helpline.
I was not, because I had not received a 311 response acknowledging my call.
Okay, but you spammed it 5 times.
Over the course of an hour, yes.
I would see that as spamming, sir.
I would
But
not
I
see
do
that
not
as
believe-
spamming.
I
I
do
would
not
see
bel-
that as
Can I
trying to
interject
get an
now?
acknowledgement of my distress.
May I ask a question? I do not believe it was an hour, Paul, because from the time that 311 stated in, we were dealing with the end of the situation, and it was a solid 30 minutes tops. Tops, sir.
You're correct, it's not an entire hour, it
And
is
may I
on the long lines of
interject
50
as well,
minutes, yes.
as a note, that your video is 13 minutes long.
Yes, the video is edited to remove substantial amount of time that it would have taken. What was included in the video was every 311 and 911 call.
Again, I would like to move for the
response.
video to be completely removed from evidence, as it is a edited and could be manipulated video.
On that, aside from editing, you can see the start and response time from when I was first in distress and from when I was first tended to by PD. Cannot remove that from the evidence because that is clear.
Well, that's up to the judge to decide.
I am going to remove the evidence. As I say, it's the same for all parties. All evidence will be stricken unedited from start to finish.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, sir?
All evidence must be unedited from start to finish, and as for your own admittance, and you can clearly see it as edited. So that will be dismissed. But what we're going to do now is I'd like you to give your closing statements, and then Mr. Armitek can do his.
NJ, you can take a seat again.
Shall I start with my closing statement?
Thank you, Tech.
On what I had hoped would be another normal afternoon in Denmark, I found myself under the burning wreck of a helicopter. Despite my calls for distress and the comfort of a friend who had also called, I received no attention and no response. PD, despite my evidence being thrown out, has acknowledged that there was no response, and has stated their reason as being they were preoccupied with paperwork, as well as a case involving an EMT shooting PD. A case that was an external affair that should not have been dealt with while there were civilians at risk, or even during the waking hours of our beloved city and island. I was not tended to, and only with the threat of suicide had anyone arrived. Armitek expressed concerns over the traumatic experience that his EMT experienced that night, witnessing my jump from a tower. However, has expressed little remorse to my mental state as I was pushed through traumatic experience after traumatic experience to the point of wanting to end my own life and jumping from that tower. That is the reason I'm here. Because of the post-traumatic stress and the lack of trust I've developed for our PD and our EMTs. I would also like to say that EMTs are well aware, as well as PD, of the responsibilities in becoming police and are well aware that they may be subjected to traumatic experiences. The fact that one may have been caused by myself should not be taken into account. This experience has been highly stressful for me. This experience has caused me a lot of harm. It's caused my family a lot of hardship. And I would like my compensation for the therapy that I must now endure, and for the physical therapy I'm going through to attempt to regain movement of the right side of my face.
Has he made any contact to the EMT for any of this therapy?
Negative.
Okay.
EMTs are emergency response personnel, sir. They're not the therapy.
Emergency medical service, actually. But
yes.
anyway, just leave that
I'm
for my
not saying what it
closing
stands
statement.
for, I'm saying what they are. They are emergency. My long years of therapy ahead are not emergency treatment, sir. I rest my case.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the court, I would like to bring to the attention of Mr. Gottflaver's inability to fly an air vehicle. He crashed his own vehicle, causing his own damage and injuries. The officers at the time were preoccupied with other duties, i.e. paperwork and attending to internal affairs. They were not available at the time to respond in a timely manner. As soon as they were available to respond in a timely manner, they responded. They were then met with conflict and suicide threats. When they arrived at the scene, the suspect, or the person committing the suicide announced to them that he was going to jump and committed suicide right in front of them, not giving them any chance whatsoever to rectify the situation, offer
Show
compensation
evidence
for
of
the
this arm
delay.
attack.
It's on your video.
Yeah.
It's been dismissed.
If you want to
but-
watch the video, which you
No, it's been
disqualified
dismissed. It has
It
been
has?
dismissed.
So
So
where's
you've
your
got
evidence?
proof
I
evidence
jumped
otherwise.
immediately.
You have to provide evidence to the contrary.
Yes,
you
have
haven't
to
provided
provide
that.
evidence, sir.
This is a closing statement, not a Q&A. Can you be quiet, please?
So-
Get off later.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
apologize.
so basically, I would like the jury to find in favour of the EMT and PD service, as they do their job as best as they possibly can with the staff they have on at the time of the day when this event happened. I would like to move forward with the claim of post-traumatic stress not on Got Flavour, but in fact on the EMTs and PD arriving at the scene. I would also like to bring to the account that Got Flavour's claim that the EMTs and PD were deliberately trying to ignore his calls were defunct due to the fact of that is not within their work remit, and they are here to serve and protect, not to ignore neglect. Sorry. And that's pretty much my ending statement. To be honest, I don't see there being any case, but it's up to you, Judge.
What I'm going to do now, gentlemen, is I'm just going to deliberate for a few minutes and I shall come back with a decision. Mr. Doc
Your
Flavour can
Honor,
remain in the
can
courtroom
the jury
while
ask a
I
couple questions?
will deliberate.
May the jury ask a couple questions? Just, oh, I guess there's no jury.
Let me over it.
It's Judge Dredd, that one.
Ossifers, I need some water. Where's my breakfast?
Jay, do you know I told you about your pepper spray and using it for
Marcel
breath
looks like
mint?
he's
Mhm.
sleeping that full.
I think you really need to, man. I can smell it from behind you. That must be some bad breath you got going on there.
Yeah, a little bit of halitosis. Trying to get that taken care of. As soon as I get my pepper spray back.
Yeah, that might be a bit of a problem.
No, look at Marcel. He's like leaning back in his chair.
Here you go.
passed out.
That's something for you that'll help with that breath.
I'm gonna take a little stretch. You guys
Oh, God.
That's it.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh my god.
The funny thing is that probably would be an improvement, CJ.
Somebody just defecate in the courtroom.
Yes, somebody defecated.
You got a donut. Hey, take that.
Feeling alright,
Is that-
man?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Somebody get this man some water. He's not well.
Is that MJ that just defecated? It looks like he just puked that. Oh god.
What the hell? Oh, shit.
We got a room full of EMTs. Help
All
us, man.
rise,
Come on.
judges in attendance.
Ah, damn it.
Whoever stuck a shit on my courtroom better be picking that up unless you
Alright.
I'm sorry. I can't control my bowels ever since that happened.
You can all be seated, please.
Really need to move this sit down option a little bit higher so you don't have to fucking duck.
At least they're comfortable chairs. My ass isn't
Don't
done
know.
yet.
I was about to say, I don't know how yours is. I put pins in it before you arrived.
This cell looks comfortable.
Comfy ass shit. You even take a nap.
Well, the judges be right back.
Oh my god, two sandwiches.
Put a lot of sting today. No, we keep it.
It's to fix these painkillers that actually fixed you up a little bit.
Ooh.
Just got flavour. Just a few issues, obviously, with this case that I'm having. Looking over the evidence at the first skill. Obviously, you were flying over the limit, so that's your own responsibility due to pilot negligence.
That was not with the yes,
Can I
shows
just
it
interject
shows
there,
you what's
Judge?
in, but apart from that, it
Can I
also
interject,
shows
Judge?
you exiting the emergency call system. So you didn't actually call the MC. That's why they didn't receive your death call. You've hit escape on the menu. As for the not responding to your calls, you are an adult. The MPs can't be responsible for your mental issues, which you obviously have. So I'm going to be recommending that you do go from the session, because you seem to be having, suicidal issues. As for the compensation for Mr. MJ, the counterclaim, I've got to be approving that as it's part of the service as an EMC to expect, to attend that type of scene.
I understand.
I'll drop my fee a little bit, MJ, don't worry.
It's all good.
Judge, you okay? Has someone spiked your drink?
Yeah. Judge, you okay?
Judge?
Do you need a glass of water? I think he's having a stroke.
Oh shit.
Can we get an EMT over here?
Paul, can you raise both arms equally, please?
Somebody's up the judge.
Judge, are you okay?
I was playing about it, might take you a
Yes, sorry, sir.
He looks like he's gonna pass out.
Judge, are you okay? Need some water? A cigarette? A bottle of Jack? Judge? Sir?
Maybe slap him in the face when you wake up.
Sit down.
It's Officer Abuser.
Sorry about that, folks. I suffer from narcolepsy now and again.
Okay, just make sure you're okay.
Welcome back.
So as I was saying, Mr. Gottlaber, I am going to be recommending you be detained for a medical assessment after this trial's finished. Due to your suicidal tendencies and seems to be passing out as well at the moment.
Yeah, I've been passing out ever since the trauma from the helicopter.
You can't claim that EMC's not responding to your calls when you are part of the problem that's overstretched in the first place. You are a grown man and they can't be responsible for your issues. That's why I'm on the ride. So again,
Excuse me, sir, if I may interject, you yourself wrote the evidence saying you were not going to use it. If you're going to use that evidence, you have to use all of it.
all emergency calls are logged and you do not
Yes, all emergency calls are logged. You will see many other calls.
saying your actual first call for the heli crash is not logged. And actually call, you closed out the emergency call menu.
Sorry, I cannot copy.
I believe, to my knowledge, I had clicked send on the call. However, if you are checking your RPT file for evidence in the call
I'm
logs,
not checking the RPT file, it's clear in the video, you actually close it out before you actually hit call.
then it will also be clear that there were multiple other 911 calls.
Call scientist.
So anyway, in closing, your compensation claim has been denied, so you will be detained for the mental assessment.
He's a scientist. What the fuck you do to me, Big P?
I don't know, I can't copy you. I'm trying.
The court out of session now, Judge.
Court is dismissed.
Guys, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Judge.
Have a good day.
Matter of your fee, sir.
We'll meet you downstairs, Tech, for the payment.
Yeah,
Mr.
okay,
EMT,
we can,
who do you want
we
this
can
guy?
go and have a little chat.
Sir, I believe you have something that belongs to me.
Are you just gonna put this guy in the holding cell to the EMT scan?
court justice officer.
Mr.
Oh, he's
Butler,
getting
would you
arrested?
please search this man to see if he has 6 cow traps?
I can
Can you guys
officially
please
see
unblock
as
the
my
door?
representative.
Need to get out?
I don't want to press
Thank
charges.
you.
I just want property back.
Property.
Can you guys please unblock the door?
Ask you a couple questions.
Can you let us settle our fee?
As I wasn't
He's got
Excuse
them in
me,
his
sir.
hand.
Can you guys get off the fucking door? Now you guys hear it.
It stated that they were handling things online that should have been handled offline.
Come on, £10 exit fee.
Now,
Okay, one at a time.
Alright, sir, we're gonna put you on a holding cell to the EMT.
Actually,
Get out, get out!
Can you stop running, please? I'm lagging out. Sorry, it's out RP, but I'm lagging out. Stop
Benji, can I
running.
talk to you outside real quick?
Okay, I'm back.
yeah, the offline thing is out the window now. It doesn't happen anymore. So you may see several officers in, but they're actually handling something online. We are moving online rather than offline. That needs to go by the wayside. Shit is going to get handled in-game whenever possible.
yeah,
Is this the proper treatment?
Even to the thing that I'm doing, like,
That's weird. Did you just see that? Got Flavour just teleported up here in front of that shed and vanished again.
I didn't see that. What happened there?
NJ.
No idea. He just popped up and disappeared.
Can I
What's up?
talk to you real quick outside?
1 second, I gotta clear some stuff up with my lawyer real quickly.
Yeah, we got to
Alright.
have a meeting. Let's go in here.
One
Was
cat.
that absolutely necessary to put me in cuffs? I believe I could have walked down here myself.
Like evidence I picked up,
Oh, alright.
so I don't know.
Marcel, where'd y'all go?
I'm at the front door outside.
Instant whisper, boys.
Yeah, I'm down to whisper, I think.
Oh no, I need to rebind my bloody key.
That was a nice job there, Mr. Williams.
Oh, that was awesome.
Get off. You guys need to rest.
I disagree. I fucking stumbled and started all over the fucking
Denver.
place.
No, dude, it was good. It was good.
No, that was very good.
Very
Hang on,
informative.
just setting my speaking volume. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Ah,
I've got to pay you something, dude.
yeah.
So I'll give you a quarter
It
mil.
was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
I'll give you a quarter mil. I mean, that was definitely well worth it. So,
Enjoyed it. It was actually quite. It was. I'm sweating a bit.
Oh my
That-
god.
You should do that more often. You did good.
see, that was worth a quarter mil to me. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you a quarter mil. So, I mean,
so
there's
great.
that.
Same here. I just gotta go get it downstairs.
So, I mean,
Well, is there anything I could have improved on? Do you think? Or
no, you were very, very, very commanding of the situation. You didn't
Are we
come
able to
across
hear
as
each other?
intimidated. That's
No.
the biggest thing.
That was really good considering like no one had like real solid evidence.
as soon as I saw that video, I knew we'd win because he
Edited.
the video, which is against the fucking courtroom rules.
Yes.
No matter what, even if he had fucking the biggest spill ever, that would have always been thrown out.
Yes. I just wish our countersuit would have gotten attention.
But if you think about it, he's getting medical treatment for it. So if you look at it in a role play perspective, it's good that
Yeah.
he's going to get some more treatment out of it.
Yeah. It's just very negative situation dealing with that kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But oh well, a very good job, Mr. Sir. I'll wire you $250,000.
Cool.
And ditto. Appreciate it, Tech. Thank you.
What's going on? There's an officer running around with a taser in his hand.
What the fuck? It's ships walking all around PD. No one's controlling them. There's not enough cops.
Okay, are we having your court date right now,
What's
though?
going on?
Big B.
You're on whisper, remember?
Well, at least you just wait.
We're having another court date, so they're kind of just supposed to be walking around.
Maybe we need to go and tell Big P before he starts shooting people. Shut this door, NJ, when you get out.
Yeah. Oh crap.
I'm a tech, you can also represent me against Big B if you want.
I think Big P wants me to represent him.
Okay.
Hey, Mr.
Hoff, come on.
Mr. Big
Wait, how do we get out of here?
We'll get everybody corralled back in.
Let's go get downstairs real quick.
What was that?
Just go downstairs.
Mr. Tech is.
Alright, I'll follow you.
I'm assuming. represent you?
I think so.
You did a good job, dude.
Oh, I'll hire a tech anytime. That was good.
Tech is
Something is up.
User disconnected from your channel.
Hide down here, you see, because that other dude wants to be represented. I really don't want to represent anyone.
that was worth it, dude.
That was fun.
That was
Fucking
cool.
phenomenal.